How do I do that? How do I make this happen? Welcome back, everyone. Ah, there we go. Is it happening? What is this? Yes. All right then. Uh, there we go. There we go. I've just said welcome back. Welcome back. So here it is, Tuesday, and I have some very cool things that I want to tell you have been happening the last few days. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee and then we'll get underway. All right. Ah, nectar of the gods. All right. So I read something the other day that made me smile. And now I know it made me smile because of my personality, and I know that it would not necessarily make other people smile. But what it was this: safety is often our our primary goal. Compliance, going along to get along. And then here was the killer line: the view is not so great from the middle of the herd. Good morning, Charles. And I say to myself, there you are. You're in the middle of the herd, and the view really, pretty much any way you look at it, sucks. However, there is a lot to be said for compliance and for just showing up and doing the thing they ask you to do and going home when it's over and not taking any of it with you. And I certainly have been in those situations, and I certainly know that there are times when it is just such a blessing to just show up, have people tell you where to go and what to do and when and how, and do it. And then walk home, walk away, leave, and not take any of it with you. There is an incredible freedom in that. You don't own it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to be the one to improve on it. You just do what they ask, and that's the end of it. However, for me, certainly, and I think for more of us than we may admit to, having that opportunity to uh, be. Good morning, Freddie. Having that opportunity to be creative, to be the one who puts our thumbprint on it, whose nudge makes it, something that we created. Um, that's very special too. With that comes responsibility. I mean, if you do it and it's different, and somebody says, "Who did that?" You say, "I did." Um, then what you have. It says, "Oh, excuse me, just one second." It says, "Stream Elements bot running." I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to move my little cursor off the thing. Um, so the idea that one day we wake up and say, "The view from the middle of the herd sucks. I'm not good with it anymore. It's not enough anymore." Those moments come when we least expect it, when we thought everything was perfectly fine, and then one day it's blah, it's ho hum, it's oh well, I suppose it could be worse. And what a horrible way to live. What a horrible way to fill each day with that kind of blahness. If we have the ability, if we have given to us the freedom, granted also the responsibility, but if we are offered the opportunity to put our stamp on things, then there's a tremendous sense of pride. You know, it just popped into my head. When I was in high school, I took home economics, which was an exercise in futility, really, because I retained nothing of any kind of significance. Anyway, one of the classes within that umbrella was sewing. My mother was a brilliant seamstress. My mother could make anything, and it was always gorgeous, and she never needed a pattern. No idea how she did it. She was also an incredible artist. Me, I'm in other categories. I'm good at other things. Anyway, somewhere along the line, we were tasked with making a dress in this sewing class, and I ripped the pattern. I didn't mean to, but I was pinning or something, and I got frustrated with it. And I said, "Oh, for heaven's sakes!" And it tore, and there was nothing I could do to get it right, because it just, for some reason, it wouldn't comply. And I said to myself, "Well, if you can't do the top, then you make a skirt, top, skirt, dress." So I did. I made the skirt, and I went in with. I didn't say anything. I'm not going to get permission. I'm going to get forgiveness. So I went in with it, and everybody showed off their dresses, and all their dresses to me looked amazing, and my skirt looked wistful. And and when I held it up, and I said, and she said, "Where's the other half?" And I said, "The pattern got ruined." And she said, "Well, but you should have said something, because I could have given you another pattern. I had more, and now it's too late." And I said, "Well, but I like the skirt." And she said, "Well, you may like the skirt." She said, "I don't think much of the skirt. And by the way, that wasn't the assignment." And she said, "But we all agreed that we're going to wear what we made. So everybody go and change." And so I went and changed, and I was mortified, and I brought a cute top to go with this skirt and everything. So as I was trudging back to the class, as I walked through the door, one of the handsome young male teachers in the school was walking by as I was walking in. And so I walked into the class, and I was all dejected. And he popped his head in. And he said, "Abby." I turned around and, "Yes, yes, Mr. So-and-so." And he said, "Cute skirt," and walked away. And I turned, and the teacher was facing me. And I looked at her, and I said, and I went and sat down. I got an F. I didn't care. The public had voted. And so, I should have wanted to get a better grade, except that to me, the exercise was in me learning something. The exercise was in me proving to myself that I could acquire a skill, that there was some way to for me to express myself. And what she had done effectively was say, "No, no, everybody's going to do it exactly the way it says in the pattern." And I thought to myself, okay, well, I can see that there's a reason for that. When you join the Army, you go to basic training so that they get everybody to all march in the same formation, in the same direction at the same time, with the same intention. I understand that. But this was like 10th grade. And I thought, and I still think, that school is a time when we're supposed to learn and adapt and adopt and apply so that we ourselves grow. So, that's one of the stories about this whole, should I stay or should I go? Should I stay following the rules, or should I, become a rebel and go my own way? Should I take my own path? And that is a question we ask ourselves every day. And sometimes we need to comply. When the traffic light is red and the traffic is going, yeah, we need to comply for our safety and for the safety of others. When it isn't dangerous, there's no reason why we can't. In my way of thinking, there's no reason why we can't say, I'm hungry. I have a hunger to express myself. And the other thing that I heard and saw, I heard it. It was a video, and I heard it, and I was outside the room, and I came back in and I replayed it, because it was an incredibly powerful message that I heard. And I wanted to share it with you, because it all dovetails into this, should I stay or should I go? And what are the boxes I tick that help me make that decision? And here it was. It was this motivational guy, and he was on the Oprah show. So this is going back a few years, but here was this clip, and somebody had posted it, so I was watching it. And he said, and Southern gentleman, and he said, one of the things we fail to recognize because we're standing too close is who we are just as we are, not compared to anyone else. And he said, there are people among us who are 10-gallon people. And he wasn't referring to the physical size. He was referring to the size of their energy and their excitement and their hunger to learn and their appetite for more. He said, there are 10-gallon people who seize each day. And he said, not everyone is a 10-gallon person. But for the 10-gallon person, the greatest tragedy is if they are raised by people with pint-sized capacities. And there was this kind of collective gasp in the audience. Camera was on him, medium close-up. And he said, because when we realize that this person is a 10-gallon person, and that person has a pint-sized capacity, here's the tragedy. The person with the pint-sized capacity can be giving all they've got. They can be sharing all they know. They can be leaning in with all of their energy. And no matter how much they care, no matter how passionate they are, no matter how committed they are to the outcome, for the 10-gallon person, it doesn't fill them up. It's not enough. And the 10-gallon person goes hungry. The 10-gallon person feels lost, unloved, confused, because the instruction booklet is empty. And he said, what we need to learn is recognition. We only see the world through our eyes. So if we are 10-gallon people and we look at the world, we assume everyone in the world is a 10-gallon person. They may not be exactly like us. No two people are exactly alike. But we assume, I know I do, I assume that everybody comes into the day, comes into a connection with me, leaning in with the same size 100% that I bring. And that's not true. If no two people are exactly alike, no two people are going to lean in with the exact same size, energy, commitment, excitement, magic, wonder. It's not going to happen. Similar? Yes, maybe, fingers crossed, but not exactly the same. And we can't see our world through different filters than the ones we have. All we can do is get new filters. It's like the day I first got glasses, I'm very nearsighted. 2400, as an eye doctor once said, you wouldn't see a gray car in the rain at 50 feet. Okay. At dusk. Okay. So I need better filters. I needed better glasses to be able to see the world the way the rest of the world sees the world. I needed to be able to adopt, adapt, and apply so that the playing field that I am on is level. That's my responsibility. That's my job. If I'm dealing with someone who has a pint-sized capacity, it's my responsibility to do the work to recognize what isn't working. Why, when we go for a walk, I'm just walking and the other person is scurrying along beside me? Do you ever see that? Some normal human being walking a very, very small dog, person strolling, the dog is trying to keep up because it got little teeny weeny feet. That's a pint-sized capacity. If we can't see those things, we're in for a life of bitter disappointment, because we can't help but assume that this empty feeling, this uncompleted learning curve, this hollowness that we feel, this confusion that we have, is somehow our fault. When we're kids and our parents are arguing, a lot of us thought it was somehow our fault. A lot of kids are angry and scared when there's a big fight going on with the alphas in the tribe, because if it's my fault, what they're gonna toss me out where the saber-toothed whatnots are, and I'm gonna die. So I'm gonna comply, and I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna try and help, and I'm gonna overcompensate. That's not our job. That has never been our job. Think about that. If we are a 10-gallon person, or a 5-gallon person, or a 1-gallon person, or a liter person, or a whatever person, it's not our job to compensate for the person with a pint-sized capacity. It's our job to recognize what that capacity is, and thank them, and recognize them, and cheer them on for doing their best, bringing their best game to the table at their level. It's our job to be the captain of our boat. And if we've got a pint-sized capacity in one of the seats, we might want to give them a different job to do. If rowing as hard and as fast as we can is being done by a whole bunch of 10-gallon people, all that's going to happen is we're going to exhaust that pint-sized person. They're going to use up their pint-sized capacity and feel like a failure. Isn't that interesting? I was blown away by those two things. The decision we make, should I stay or should I go? And what I was saying in my question this morning was, if you're asking, you already know. If the question has occurred to you, you're considering options already. And here's what I think about people when they ask that question. I've asked that question, usually to myself. Dither, 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 dither. Oh, for God's sake, get it over with. Pick one. Have you ever done this? I've done this, and I don't know what causes it. I think it's some kind of a short circuit in the instruction to the brain, to the nerve. But I'm getting ready to do something, and it either happens with my feet, or the balance on my feet, or with my hands. And I find myself doing this, or with my feet, back, forth, back, and then I see myself doing it. I think, for God's sake, pick one. It's because I have two thoughts at the same time. Do this, but get that. Okay, but so then I'm just on this sort of autopilot thing going, stop, breathe, pick. You can do this one, then the next one. Oh yeah, right. And then I go ahead. And in a way, that's a metaphor for what I'm talking about. A really good friend of mine, a lovely guy, said that he got a promotion. And I said, well, good for you. Good for you. It's about time. Congratulations. What are you going to do? And he said, oh, we're going to celebrate. And he said, this weird thing happened. The opportunity came up. And good morning, Ingrid. How wonderful to see your face and your name joining me. So I'm just saying that this lovely friend of mine got a promotion. And I had congratulated him. And he said, you know what happened? He said, I do this thing. When an opportunity comes, I get so overwhelmed. I'm so excited, and I'm so eager and anxious. And I have so many things that I want to say about this opportunity that has suddenly presented itself to me, that I stutter. And then when I realize that I'm stuttering, I become horribly self-conscious, and I can't look the person in the eye. And he said, and I know what that looks like. I know that from the other side, from that other person's eyes, I look like I can't get it together. And and in a way, I can't get it together. I can't slow myself down sufficiently to just say the thing. I can't stop the left, right, back, forth, back, forth. For heaven's sakes, pick one. And he said, and it's a nervous tick. It's because I'm so excited. And he said, and I don't know what happened, but this time the person said to me, "What is your best quality?" And all of a sudden, he said, I don't know what I channeled or who, but my whole focus just kind of went, ooh, directly on her. He said, and I found myself looking her in the eyes. And I heard myself say, I connect with people. And he said, and then I just smiled, small smile. And she nodded and she said, I agree. And she said, I was just curious to hear what you had to say. And then she told me that I had the job, I had the promotion, I was getting the raise, I was getting the responsibilities. And she said, I've been watching you for a long time, and I just felt that now was the right time to have this conversation. And it was really cute. He said, I have a feeling that I had a Viking guardian angel tapping me on the shoulder saying, focus, focus. And he said, it really, I felt some need, some focusing thing happening inside my brain, inside my body, and everything just all the extraneous things just kind of faded. They just kind of were out of focus, and I was just completely focused on her because the question was very simple. It was a very simple question, and I knew the answer. And so I replied and I said, well, of course you knew the answer. All the questions are simple when we're paying attention. It's when we can't focus that we're not quite sure what we heard and how many things maybe they want to hear. And we overcompensate because we are a 10-gallon person and they have a pint-sized capacity. And we're trying to be more and do more to bring them up to our level. And in fact, it doesn't work. And I thought, well done, grasshopper. Well done. So the conversation today, what I wanted to say today was, there's another. The conversation today is also about another little video that I saw about the way lobsters grow. I didn't know this. Social media, the educational tool. Lobsters are soft, mushy little animals, and they live inside a hard shell that protects them from scary, monsters. And as the mushy little creature inside the shell grows, the shell doesn't grow. The shell remains the shell. And at some point, the lobster says, have I been putting on weight? I parked this shell in my closet and it shrank. And so the lobster does this because it's uncomfortable, because it can't move and it doesn't like the way it feels. It goes to a place that is safe. And good morning. Thank you, Charles. It goes to a place that is safe and it crawls out of the shell that no longer fits. And then it waits under this rock or in this cave or behind something while it grows a new, bigger shell. And it keeps doing that. Every time it grows big enough and the shell is now again pinching, the lobster repeats the process. It goes to a safe place, discards the shell that is too small, and grows the new one. And the voiceover on the video said, if the lobster was in a safe place, if the lobster was given a tranquilizer, if the lobster was sung lullabies to, and it felt no discomfort, it would never grow. If it was complacent, it would always remain in its small form. The trigger that causes us to say, no, is dissatisfaction, is discomfort. If you eat a Twinkie every day because it's your favorite dessert, at some point in time, please God, you're going to say, I'm kind of done with Twinkies, at least for a while. Because if you keep eating Twinkies, you're going to be 7,000 pounds and have no teeth. So no, no aspersions cast on Twinkies as a brand, but it's all, the sugar stuff is what I'm talking about, and the calories. And so if we are complacent, if we prefer to go along to get along, to just show up and do just enough to not get fired, to stay exactly where we are and maintain the status quo, we will never grow. If we never allow ourselves to say, what's over there? We'll never find out. Now, a lot of people do that for safety. In many cases, our subconscious brain, has these triggers: fight, flight, freeze, hide, comply. And it automatically chooses them based on the fearful threat that it senses. Well, okay, freeze, hide, comply, but not forever. Just until the danger passes, so that we can sneak up behind whatever the danger is and go boo, thud, and run like hell. We do need to know how to do all these things. What we have to think about is that where we want to stay? Is that how we want to live every day? Because if we do nothing original, that's what we're going to get. That's all we're ever going to have, is same old, same old. Now, a lot of people derive a lot of comfort in that because it's safe and also because it's familiar. They don't have to learn anything new. They don't have to navigate through the leaping curve where they feel like an idiot because they don't know what they're doing. They don't want to take risks. For them, the reward is not great enough. Now, this is not meant as a criticism. This is meant as an observation. There are reasons that compliant creatures are on the earth, because they fill in the gaps between the crazy rebels who leap off and run off and madly in all directions. There are the warriors who do battle. There are the people back at the camp who make the food, who load the wagons, who tend to the injuries, who raise the children, who feed you and clothe you and care for you and teach you. Not everybody's a warrior. Everybody has a role. And there are situations, there are jobs, there are companies, there are industries that require people who are very happy to show up every day and take pride in doing 7,000 repetitions virtually identical, because that happens to be the process that creates the product and the outcome. There are roles for all of us. There are roles for the pint-sized capacities. There are roles for the 10-gallon dreamers and wanderers and warriors. There are roles for all of us. One is not better than the other. What does matter, what is important, what makes all the difference in our lives is recognizing who we are and who they are. Good morning, Matthew. Nice to see you. We have to recognize that when we ask of someone to give all they've got, and all we get is that's it, we have to pay attention. Who are they? What are they capable of giving? And by the way, this just popped into my head because the time is upon us. There are people who are 10-gallon people who have been tasked beyond their capacities, and pint size is all they have left right now. Pint size is all they got. And they're going to give it because they're 10-gallon people. And that's how they roll. So when you know someone who is the big person, the one who cannot help but lean in and do the big thing, and all they give is something small, you know there's something wrong. And if we are a friend, it's up to us to ask, is everything okay with you? Is there anything that I can do? Can I give you a hand with that? In a way, for us to enjoy who we are and where we're going and what's on the road ahead, we have to become profilers a little bit. We have to channel our inner FBI. What is it? CSI. We have to take the time to not just look at the people we're engaged with, but see them. We have to take the time to hear them. We have to take the time to pause and say, cause and effect. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing the effect. I wonder what the cause would be. That's our job. That's our job in this tribe. And if I were 2 inches this way from this angle talking to you, so I see a different side of you and you see a slightly different side of me, I would be saying the same thing. This side of us has that responsibility. This one does too. And this one. Every single one of our glorious, glittery facets has this responsibility. If it doesn't fit, if it's not working, it's up to us to find out why. Because complaining gets you nowhere. A friend of mine a long time ago said, there are always 3 options in a situation that is fraught with stuff, good or bad. Yes. You can change it. You can discard it, or you can walk away. You can change it, you can discard it, or you can walk away. Those are your options that will create change. Fix it, discard it, or walk away. Okay. And if you can't do any of those, shut up about it and lean in. If it's not working for you and you can't affect change in any way, or you choose not to affect change in any way, shut up about it. And it was incredible advice, because I was fetching and moaning about something and I'd gone on. And then he said this, and I don't know why, in that horrible voice, I just realized it's complaining. It's the sound of a mosquito. It's the way I don't like mosquitoes. If they would just stop whining about stuff, come in, do the thing, leave. But I was, ee. So I've realized that I have these 2 animal analogies that pop into my head all the time. And one is the complainer, and that's the mosquito. And the other is the person who yaps and shouts and grumps and groans nonstop. And I call that the small yappy dog syndrome. Both are from places of resistance. Both are from places of discomfort. Both are from places essentially of fear, confusion, loneliness, frustration. Both are what we do when we're not willing to change it if we don't like it, to understand it if we are confused. Both of them are us giving up our responsibility to own what we are experiencing. All of these things happened in the last 24 hours. I want to tell you something else that happened in the last 24 hours, and it's remarkable. I don't know. I don't know how it happened, and I'm so grateful. I can't begin to tell you. I've been angsting about this situation that I got myself into because I wasn't paying attention. Face the front, Abby. What? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes. So my friend who passed away, I chose to be the one to organize a celebration of life for my friend. And then, because overwhelmed by too many things, I guess, I chose the one weekend in the entire year when that province is completely overwhelmed with a celebration of its essence of who it is. I chose that weekend because I'm not from that province. Mm-hmm. Did I look around? Could I have looked at the date and said to myself, now, why does that date seem familiar to me? Could I have asked somebody? In fact, I talked to a lot of people. Here's the interesting thing. I talked to all the people who live in that province. All of them for months. It's been months since I said, we'll do this. And you know what? Not a single one of them who knows better, not a single one of them said, you realize it's that weekend? Because if they'd said that, I would have changed it, right? So, you know when it occurred to me that it's that weekend? Yesterday. What? So yesterday being the 12th, it's literally 2 weeks. 1, 2. It's not even 2 weeks. It's 12 days. Oh my God. It's 12 days. And I suddenly went, oh. And the reason I was taught it, the reason I had my eyes opened for me, thank you very much. Boof. The reason my eyes opened for me is I asked a question, and I asked it in that querulous, whining tone. I said, I can't even get a quote from anybody who, you know, they rent these things and I need this and I need that. And I've been calling and this friend of mine said, well, it's that weekend. And I said, what? In that intelligent, insightful, glamorous, elegant way that I have. What? And this friend of mine said, yeah, didn't that dawn on you? Nobody's answering your calls. They're not going to give you a quote. They don't have any equipment left. They don't have any supplies. They're busy. They're already running around like headless chickens. It's only 12 days away. I said, okay, thanks. And I hung up the phone and I thought, now what? So I have another friend and I called her and I'm now past the whining stage. Now I'm at the, okay, all right. we have to fix this. So I called her and I said, blah, 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 blah. And I said, here, and she said, well, what can I do? And I said, okay, here's the thing. What you do for a living and the kinds of people that you interact with. I just thought all fingers and toes crossed. You might know somebody who has these things. And she said, how many do you need? And I said, as many as I needed. And she said, what size? And I told her. And she said, well, you're in luck. I can help you. And I said, oh my God. So I picked up my pen and I'm getting ready to write down whoever this is that I have to call, that I have to arrange. And I said, okay, shoot. And she said, what do you mean shoot? And I said, I've got a pen. I've got my notebook. Tell me who I need to contact. And she said, it's me. And I said, what do you mean it's you? And she said, I have that stuff. I said, what? What? And she said, I have that. I have this and I have this and I have that and that. You probably also need this and this and this. And I said, that's right. And she said, I have all that stuff. It's the house. And she said, do you want my husband to drop it off for you? And because I'm going to have to drive to go and do this thing and I don't have a vehicle. And I said, yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I think I said it about 43 times when she said, okay, stop doing that. And I said, what? And she said, you've now said, oh my God, like, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Oh my God. And I thought, oh, shut up. I had not asked the one person who had the solution in the palm of her hand. And it wasn't that I didn't want to include her or involve her. I was just facing the wrong way. I was looking at it as a process that I could only do this way. I wasn't looking at plans B and C. Me, the one who talks about door number 3. I was not doing that because I was fixated on getting a thing done. And I was not profiling the situation. I was not profiling the people around me. It was all me. How am I going to do this? Oh, poor me, flinging flour in my face and, doing the whole Camille thing. What an idiot. And so I said, and not only that, but she's within easy reach of me. I'm going to go see her tomorrow. She said, I want you to come. I want you to look, make sure it's okay, because I don't want to disappoint you. You show up and you go, oh, yeah, not what I wanted. I want this all to work for you. So not only has the problem that has been vexating me for 2 months now gone away, not only has my blind nonsense in not paying attention to the relevance of the date gone away, but all of the complications and the timing and the cost involved, the actual cost involved, gone away. Poof. Because I didn't ask a 10-gallon person sooner. Timing is everything. Isn't that amazing? That's incredible. And I said, I don't know, what am I? And she said, and do not talk to me about paying me for this. Stuff is just sitting here. I'm not using it. I said, can I give your husband gas for the vehicle? Yes, you can. Yeah, you can do that. He'll be appreciative. Gas is ridiculous. Okay, but I'm going to give them some kind of gift later, obviously. The thing is, she wanted to be part of the solution. She wanted to not only be on the cruise, enjoying the moment as a friend, she wanted to be manning one of the oars. She wanted to be part of us getting where we wanted to go. And she had kept saying, if there's anything I can do, I want you to reach out. And I had said, oh, absolutely. But I didn't want to put anybody out. How dumb was that? Exactly. On a scale of 1 to dumb, about 100%. and so the message in this to us, to me and to you, is when I say door number 3, when I say plans B and C, it's true. And the reason I know it is because I keep doing it. Just like you. I'm not the one who has reached the other side saying, oh, follow me this way and mind the bog. I'm the one saying, oh, keep forgetting, there's the bog. Watch your step. I'm with you on this journey. I'm navigating the leaping curve with you. I am capable of making the most fascinating errors in analysis and application. The difference is that back in the day, I kept beating myself up about it. I kept telling myself I wasn't good enough. What is wrong with you? Why do you keep doing that? And that didn't help at all. That didn't make me feel confident. That didn't give me the relaxation and the wider picture view. That made me shut down. That made me feel small and incompetent. And what kind of motivation is that? When people aren't rowing well, figure out what's wrong. Don't just yell at them. They could have a blister. They could be sitting on a tack. Find out why they're not doing it. Find out if they are a 10-gallon person or a pint-sized capacitor. Find out. Because you know who's going to benefit, you know who's going to win when you know the answer? Everyone. Everyone. Everyone is going to say, oh, well, that makes sense. Here, carry this smaller thing. It still needs to be carried. And if you carry this smaller thing, I can carry this. And we're all still in it together. One of the last things I want to say, I've just looked at the time and oh my gosh, I've gone on a bit long this time. I was once at a seminar. I was tasked with motivating 10 extremely wealthy people who think they got it all going on to do something different. And the reason I was tasked with that is because the person who was going to be running the event and introducing this unpleasant, unhappy thing wanted them wired up and fired up and figured that I was the one. If anybody could do it, it would be me. And what I had to do was surprise them. I had to shock them out of their complacency and their, this is my other good side, business, and get them paying attention. I had to find a way to tap them firmly on the bridge of the nose. And two things. One, I planned. The other one was an accident. Maybe there are no accidents. One I planned, the other one came along, right? The other one happened, landed in our laps. What I did with these vastly wealthy people is that I got them each a very inexpensive little notebook and a pen. And inside each notebook, I stapled a lottery ticket. Each lottery ticket cost me $1. But the potential was $1 million, right? So I put the cheesy little notebooks and pens in front of each place. And when these people came in with their, parking their Maybachs outside and whatnot, and they looked down at this pathetic little, and somebody said, I have my own notebook. And I said, I know you do. However, I'm hosting this portion of the day and I'd like you to use mine just for the first few minutes, if you don't mind. And I said, and if you can comply with that, then I think we're all going to be very happy. It's a very small thing I'm asking you to do. And so somebody said, yeah, knock it off. I mean, we don't know what she wants. So I said, so what I wanted to say to you before we begin is that in order for this to work, in order for the main portion of this day to work, and that's why you're all here, we all have to agree to be open to the things we hear. That's the entry level decision we all had to make to come here. We are open to see what is on offer. We may not agree, we may not buy in, but we are willing to listen and hear what is to be presented. And I said, so with that in mind, this is what I have done to motivate you. I have invested a potential $1 million in each one of you. I have invested a potential $1 million in each one of you. All I need from you is unlimited, total focus, total leaning in for an hour. That's it. Is everybody willing to give me an hour? And they all kind of looked amongst themselves and said, one by one, sure, yeah, what the hell, why not? I said, good, open your notebooks. And when they all opened their little notebooks and there was a lottery ticket, and one of the guys laughed and said, potential $1 million. And the other guy said, what if we don't win? And I said, sucks to be you. Cost you nothing, but you've already promised me an hour. You're not going to go back on it because your other 9 buddies here are going to make it life a living hell for you. So that was the first thing. And what it did was it caught them by surprise because it was a trick. And it was a smart trick. It was a clever trick. And when I thought of it, I thought, well, there's something I can afford to do. We'll see how much I can set them up for it, and it worked. It absolutely worked, and I was very pleased. I've never done it again. I've never had the opportunity, but believe me, I will. So the second thing that happened was the guy who had been the questioner, the querulous one, the complainer, the older guy, had said, "There's 10 of us and one of you." I said, "I know, and I feel so sorry for all of you, considering the odds," because they were all very businessmen, and here I am, thing with earrings, right? So he was very condescending. So at one point, what I wanted to talk to him about, and this is why I'm telling you the story, I wanted to talk about the composition of a team, the composition of a tribe, the composition of a crew, the composition of a group dedicated to a shared outcome, a battalion of soldiers, a shift of nurses and doctors, the guys and girls on a fire truck. The composition of that unit is individual and unique. And I was saying that in order for the next phase in their project to work at all, it was my job to help these 10 key decision makers remember that all the people who report to them are not all the people that report to them. They are individuals. They are Bob and Joe and Betty and Helen and Dan and Robert and Cynthia. And they all have lives, and they all have issues, and they all have gifts, and they all have talent they bring to the mix. And it's all different. Everyone in this project scenario is unique. And this older guy said, "I thought there was no I in team." And I said, without thinking, "That's because there's 2 in idiot." And that I didn't know I was going to say that. The guy in the back who hands out stuff, I never hear it first. It just comes out and I think, brilliant, or ooh. That's because there's 2 in idiot. And the other 9 guys and my boss, my guy who hired me, howled with laughter. And this older guy said, all right, and folded his arms and then unfolded his arms. And said, "Okay, I'm going to stop giving you a hard time. I'm in. And at the end of the day, the end of my hour with them, he came over and he said, you're a fighter." And I said, "Sure. What I really am is somebody who, when they accept a job, I complete it. And if there are people who are in the way, I figure out how to move them, either how to turn them to change their point of view, or at least give them an opportunity to see why they should change their point of view, or I just work around them. If I can't fix it and I can't get rid of it, and I'm not walking away, the last thing I'm going to do is complain. Then nobody wins. Nobody wins. So that is the video today. Should I stay or should I go? If you're asking the question, you already know. It's the why that we were discussing today. Whether you're a 10-gallon or a pint capacity, whether you feel safer in compliance or you're ready to grow. And no one can make those decisions for you. They're yours to own. Even choosing to opt out is taking responsibility for the outcome. Isn't that annoying? Okay, so I hope this touched some chords today. I hope this made you smile. I hope this gave you another reason to say, I'm getting more and more intrigued by Abby's concept of pivotry. And by the way, I looked it up the other day. When you see a word with RY on the end, the RY indicates a practice, something that is regularly done, something that has been perfected. So everyone pivots from time to time. Everybody turns abruptly when they must. Pivotry is when it's polished and honed and becomes an art form. So I am welcoming you to the Pivotry tribe. And I hope there are questions. And I hope you're curious about what you're going to find. I'm excited to show you. And now that I have the worst of the responsibilities and tasks and knitting back together the ravages of the last 10 months, I can now get my full focus on getting Pivotry cohesive and off the ground. And I can't wait. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you so much. You know, these videos, your participation makes them magical. It really does. So thank you. And before we go, you know the drill. Be good to you. Check it out. Are you a 10-gallon person or a pint capacity? Both are wonderful. And you need to know. Remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it. And I will see you on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.